Books, books. I like books. I'm gonna read them all.
Hi readers, Chris here. Welcome to my channel where I review fantasy, Stephen King, all sorts of books, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up and my May TBR. So let's talk about what happened in April. April was crazy. It was crazy. I started 7 books in April, but I only finished 3. Yes, that's right. I only finished 3 books this month, and that's okay, you know. For me, mostly, it was work. I had a very big project that was due towards the end of April, so, like, there were mornings that I was on my laptop by, like, 5:30 a.m., there were late nights, there were weekends, so yeah, it was really busy. And even when that wasn't happening, like, my weekends have been filled with shopping and brunch and family stuff. So yeah, that left very minimal time for reading, very minimal time. And towards the end of the month, I did feel myself getting like really stressed out. Like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to finish these books. I should just like speed read my way through them, like try to get caught up. And then I had to like check myself and be like, it's okay if you don't finish 500 books. It's okay, like, it's fine. And honestly, I would rather slow down and take my time with the books that I have left than just speed through them and move on to the next. So the 3 books that I finished in April are The Girl from the Well by Chupeco. This was a horror story, my first horror story, like, outside of Stephen King. I also finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is an adult supernatural romance between a vampire and a werewolf. And then I also finished The Crown, which is the 5th book in the selection series, the 2nd book in like the second set of books, I guess. So because I only finished these 3, I'm not gonna rank them because here's the thing. I really liked all 3 of these books. Like, I really enjoyed them. I like them all for very different reasons, though. Very different reasons. So, let's start with The Girl in the Well, since I already kind of started talking about that one anyway. So, this story is basically the tale of 2 ghosts. Our main character is a ghost named Okiku, and that's her on the cover there, Okiku. And she is like this... She's a ghost. She's like this ghost. She's a ghost who has kind of been left behind. She hasn't crossed over, but her whole thing is that she protects the souls of children. And not just any children, like children that are being attacked, basically. So when there's like people trying to traffic children or kill children or anything to do with children, like she is there to stop them. And she legitimately kills the people that are trying to harm the children. So this book poses like a very interesting moral quandary, right? Because the way that she dispatches the villains is very violent and very brutal. But like the thing, if left alive, what those people would then do to children would also be very violent and very brutal. So I think that's a really interesting, like, moral quandary going on. Definitely trigger warning if anything about children impacts you. Obviously, if you can't tell from what I've been saying, there's a lot of that in here. Now, she comes across this one little boy, and he is being possessed by a different spirit, a dark spirit. So when it comes right down to it, this is a tale of like the dark versus the light, and Okiku represents the light. I love the references to like Japanese horror, Japanese mythology. That's in here. That's really cool. I love the concept of like a good ghost versus a bad ghost. I think that's really cool. And again, I have not read a lot of horror outside of Stephen King. So some of the violence in this book, I was like, whoa, like that's pretty hardcore. But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. But if you are someone that is affected by violence, just know that going in. So overall, I really liked this one. I thought the story was really cool. I thought the characters were cool. And yeah, just this whole world of Japan and ghosts and all that stuff. Really, really enjoyed this one. I feel like I talked about that book way too long, so now I'm going to try to keep it short. But Bride, yes, this is an adult supernatural romance. But the thing that made this one a bit different for me is that the girl in the book is actually the vampire, and the male is a werewolf. He's a wolf. But I feel like in most vampire romance stories, there's always a human girl and a male vampire. So I really liked that the vampire in this story was female. So you really get to see all of those like classic vampire tropes from a woman's point of view. So anything to do with like where she sleeps, how she has to sleep in the dark, what it's like for her to, you know, drink blood, like all those classic vampire tropes that you see in like in Twilight and Crave and Vampire Diaries, but it's from the female's point of view. So I really, really like that. Now, the other thing that I really, really like this book is because it's not just a romance. Like, there's actually not one, but two mysteries involved. There's like a main mystery, and then there's kind of like a sub-mystery. And the main mystery is that our main character, Misery, her name is, she like agrees to this like political alliance. She agrees to marry this werewolf because her best friend has disappeared, and like the only piece of evidence that she has to her friend's whereabouts is linked to this werewolf. So there is this whole romance where like they're in a relationship, but they don't really want to be in a relationship, but she's trying to be a detective to find out what happened to her friend, and there's a lot of like interspecies politics going on. All of that to say, like, I really thought the plot of this was really fun. I thought the plot was really fun. I thought the romance was really fun. The characters are absolutely great. There's so many great characters, from the main ones to the side ones, everything in between. There's even a cat in here that I really enjoyed. And yeah, I am a big fan of supernatural romance, so I was a big fan of this one. Yes, it does get quite steamy. It's a slow burn, but like the back half of the book, woo, I needed a fan because it got steaming hot. And finally, The Crown. I have been enjoying the selection series. When I read the previous book, The Heir, the main character did annoy me a bit in the beginning, Adolin. So Princess Adolin, she has been raised to like one day take over as queen, and she has this event called the Selection where basically a bunch of eligible men come and try to like win her hand in marriage, and she comes off as very like, she keeps everyone at a distance. So as a reader, I felt like I was at a distance. However, over the course of the book and then into this one, she has so much growth as a character, and I really love that. I love when a character has actual development and growth, because I feel like that's rare these days. It's rare. So she has actual development, she has actual growth, she finally realizes like what she wants in this book, she finally like levels up, she gets a glow up, if you will, she finally realizes what's in her heart. And yeah, again, super fun story, super fun characters. Again, I love the whole concept of the selection, and I love that we're getting it from again, the female perspective as the leader of the selection, where in the original series we got the female perspective but as a contestant. So all the women were trying to get this one man. Now all the men are trying to get the one woman, and we're seeing it from her point of view. So again, loved all that, loved all that, loved all that. So if I had to pick a favorite out of these three, it's really, really, really close. I think if I had to choose a favorite, I would say Bride was probably my favorite, but only by like a very small amount. So that brings me to May. What the heck am I going to do in May? Because I have 4 books that are left over. I also have a trip coming up next week. I'm going to be in Chicago, so I'm going to be gone for a week. But yeah, I am adding 3 more books to my TBR to replace the 3 I finished. But let's start with my my carryover books. So really quick, carrying over into May is the 2 Foxes by Nicole Pierman, aka Nicole's Bookish Nook. Yeah, it's criminal that I couldn't finish this one. But again, I did not want to speed through it. I wanted to take my time with it. So I'll be done soon. I'll be done soon. What I will not be done soon with is The Dark Tower. Again, I felt like I was like speeding through it. And this is a book that I really want to take my time with. I really want to enjoy because it's so... There's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this book. So I'm pretty close to the end. I have I think about 200 pages left. So again, I'm going to take my time with this one. So I don't think I'm going to finish it till the end of May, but that's okay. Still reading Uprooted as well by Naomi Novik. I think I actually forgot to mention this book in my April TBR video because I had left it in my car. But anyway, getting really down close to the end of this one, but I just couldn't finish it. So hopefully I will finish it. Probably not before I leave because I leave in like 2 days, but when I come back. And my rando, Virgin Earth by Philippa Gregory. This is a historical fiction, another chunky one, so there was no way I was going to get through the whole thing. But yeah. Enjoying this one, and I wish I had something else clever to say, but I can't think of anything, so I'm just gonna move on. So that brings me to 3 new books that I am adding. First is going to be another supernatural romance because I'm taking a trip this month, and if you know me, anytime I take a trip, I always take a steamy supernatural romance with me. And the series I have been reading is Sherrilyn Kenyon's Dark Hunter series. So I believe this is the next book in the series, Dark Side of the Moon. So I will be starting that on Monday as soon as I get on my plane to Chicago. Next up, since I finished The Crown, I am doing another YA fantasy. And I literally like looked through my shelves to see if I could find like the shortest one I had. And that is Shatter Me. I know this is a popular book, a popular series. I have never read it. I believe Mary and Joe, book buds, I have a very distinct thought in my head of you doing a skit from this one. I'll have to go back through your videos and find it. If I'm wrong, tell me. But yeah, I am looking forward to finding out if the hype is real about this one. And then finally, my book box book is going to be the last Bloodcarver by Vanessa Lee, and can we just appreciate how beautiful this book is? So I love the hearts on the edges here, the stenciled edges, and the heart on the cover. This is actually a newer one. I just got this one in April, so again, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to read this because it's beautiful. That's really the only reason. So there you have it. There's everything I finished in April, everything I'm hoping to finish in May. So now I want to know from you, how many books did you read in April? Was it more than me? Was it less than Lee? Let me know your favorites in the comments section below. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more bookish stuff coming your way soon. All right, everyone, happy reading.